Welcome to NFL Live, presented by Lowe's. And just like that, the NFL Draft only 2 days away. On Thursday night, lives are going to change. The trajectory of teams will be altered. It's going to be huge. We'll be there. We can't wait. But for now, we're still in Bristol, at least for a little while longer. We got Dan here. We got J-Mac there. NFL Live will be in Pittsburgh tomorrow. That's where we find NFL Network draft analyst Daniel Jeremiah, who's joining us for the entirety of the show. What's up, DJ?
What a
How you doing?
guys.
I know you guys think I'm back in San Diego. Trust me, it really is Pittsburgh. It is absolutely perfect and beautiful here. So when you come, don't let Orlovsky ruin the weather. It's perfect as it is right now.
Yeah,
I've already taken shots. We've been trying to do a show together for like 6 years.
Right.
Yeah. Finally getting in it. We're 30 seconds in.
That means he knows you well.
I was going to say, he knows exactly what to do. We're going to put DJ to work here today, that incredible draft brain on all of this. And let's begin with the Jets, because I think we all agree that's where the draft really starts. We know what's going to happen at 1, most likely with Fernando Mendoza, but the Jets had the 2nd and 16th picks in the upcoming draft. They need help. They need lots of it. Their 15-season playoff drought continued last season as they became the first team in the Super Bowl era without a single interception and the first team to play 16 games without a 400-yard receiver. New York's been linked to many. Ohio State's Orlovsky Reese. They did cancel their top 30 draft visit with Texas Tech's David Bailey last week. However, Jets GM Darren Muge spoke earlier today about not reading too much into all that. Here's what he said.
With top 30s, every team uses them differently and has different ways of using that mechanism. Some don't even use the top 30s at all, right? I would say for us, when we do top 30s, every single player and case is different. Sometimes I want this player to meet with our player engagement department. Sometimes I want this player to meet with our sports performance. Sometimes it's purely medical. Sometimes it's a recruiting process. Sometimes it's a smoke screen. And in regards to David, we had good touch points with him at the Combine. We went to his pro day, had a good dinner with him, and we were just kind of juggling our 30 and how to use them, and I wouldn't look too much into a cancellation because there was other ones that we may have changed as well.
All right, so we're reading into everything right now, but don't read into that. DJ, what do you believe the Jets should do with the number 2 pick?
Yeah, to me, what they should do is take David Bailey. And I wouldn't read too much into that, the fact that he didn't take the visit either. He's a very clean player. You're not worried about it from a character standpoint, from a medical standpoint, and they already visited with him in person. To me, this is a polished, productive edge rusher. What he's going to be asked to do in the NFL, you've already seen him do it at a very high level at college, and he's done it over several seasons now. So that's the one that makes the most sense to me. And also, when you look at Denver, where your general manager just came from, those 2 edge rushers were absolute fastballs in Benito and Cooper. Now you've got Will McDonald, and you put another player in Bailey on the opposite side. You got 2 fastballs yourself.
Yeah, guys that can produce right away. There's just something about Orlovsky Reese that I love, and I think it's the versatility that he brings to the table. For Aaron Glenn, you're trying to implement a defense with as much talent as possible coming off a year ago where they weren't able to get an interception, what we talked about. Having a guy like Orlovsky Reese that can do multiple things, that you can line up anywhere, to me helps so many other guys on the defensive side of the ball. How do you get your best 11 on the football field? If you can move a guy around to best suit somebody else, it helps him to go out there and be an impact player and also be a leader on your defense. So there's just something about his ability and what he showed playing in a pro-style defense in college for Matt Patricia, the kind of intelligence that it takes to do all of those different things.
Is this a little bit, DJ, like the Aiden Hutchinson, Trayvon Walker conversation? Because I'm thinking Aaron Glenn, he comes from Detroit, obviously Hutch. Years before that, he was in New Orleans, Cam Jordan, true defensive end. And I look at Bailey and I go, the track record of production. I look at Orlovsky Reese and I agree with like the potential, but 7 sacks in his college career, I understand off the ball. But DJ, is a little bit like that where it is I know what I'm getting now versus long-term projection?
Yeah, and I think sometimes it's the way it was phrased. I remember in that draft, it was like, okay, you've got the athletic one in Walker, and then you've got the polished pass rusher in Hutchinson. Hutchinson was an excellent athlete as well. And just as David Bailey ran 4.5 flat, like he's an elite athlete as well. So to me, both those players ended up being great players. Yeah. And I think we're in a very similar boat here where I don't know there's a wrong decision, but to me, this feels like Bailey is more, we can't screw this up if we're the Jets. Like that's a little bit safer. Let's put this thing in the fairway. And that's why I lean in that direction.
I like that analogy. Safe for the Jets makes sense, especially at that level of talent. Now, Dan, the Jets also have the 16th pick plus 2 second-round picks this year and 3 first-round picks next year. So when you think about this in totality, when do you think they should address the quarterback position?
Obviously, I believe that 16 has to be a conversation with Ty Simpson.
Yeah.
I know that everyone knows that I'm a Ty Simpson fan and believer. And I would just say the two things in regards to if we don't go quarterback at 16 because we're going to wait till 2027. 1, 2 of those first-round picks that you have out of the 3 are going to be teams that are going to be very much so playoff contending teams in Indy and Dallas. So I don't know how much ammunition that's going to give you. The second thing, and this is the Jets and all you teams that are sitting there going, we'll wait for the 27 class. I'm not saying it's a guarantee, but we're also talking about Cleveland maybe waiting for 27, needing a quarterback, Atlanta, Minnesota, Miami, Arizona, Pittsburgh. I could hear the conversation of a potential with Houston, Carolina, depending on how their quarterbacks play. So unless you have the first or second pick next year, waiting for the 2027 class is not going to guarantee you a good player because there's a chance that 8 or 9 teams need bona fide starting quarterbacks.
Yeah, Dan, the interesting thing to me is I was talking to a coach with a young quarterback and went through the process of how they selected him and why they selected him. And he said, look, there's only a handful of guys in this league, as you guys know. They're going to be able to pull the rest of the team, those trucks that can pull the whole team behind them. So for the rest of them, we need to build this thing up so that when we do select that quarterback, that he's got a fighting chance.
Sure.
And when I look at this Jets roster right now, there's still other holes to fill. And personally, I believe they're going to use those first 3 picks this year to lay more of that foundation so that whoever they pick next year, you know, whoever that ends up being, is going to have a fighting chance. So that provided a little more clarity to me of the process of getting to when you take that quarterback.
It's interesting. You think about what DJ's talking there, building some depth, building some key pieces around a quarterback. The Jets are the only team with 4 picks in the first 2 rounds. So they have the capital to do it this season. Yeah. And it does seem like a lot of teams are looking for a quarterback next year. You mentioned the Browns. New on NFL Live, Browns head coach Todd Monken spoke about the quarterback reps on day 1 of their offseason program.
We were just rotating who was first reps. Shedeur to start. There were some other reps. The way it was going to turn out, Shedeur was going to get more reps, some of it in pass Kelly, some of it in team. A couple of the team periods were slowed down ACT, more run than they were throw. So it was set up in a way for us to get a look at all of them. The plan was to have Shedeur have a few more reps, but to let Deshaun and Shedeur both have reps with the ones.
All right, so he continues to toe the line there. We don't know who's getting the edge at quarterback for the Browns. That's okay. The Browns are another team with 2 first-round picks. They have picks 6 and 24 on Thursday. They can certainly use some help on offense. Cleveland ranked last in total QBR last season, and their quarterbacks were pressured on a league worst, 39% of dropbacks. Opponents hit the QB over a quarter of the time as well. That's not good. DJ, what would a successful night for the Browns look like on Thursday with these 2 first-round picks?
Well, Laura, first of all, they had a huge to-do list in the offseason. When you got to replace the entire offensive line, you don't see that happen very often. Now, they've filled a lot of those holes, but there's still one left at left tackle. So, to me, tackle's got to be one of these 2 picks. And when you look at the way this draft's going to unfold, I'd much rather be sitting at pick 24, their second pick, wishing and hoping for a receiver, but willing to live with it if the guy we like's not there. I would not want to be sitting there at 24, wishing and hoping and praying that one of these tackles gets to me. So to me, the order is important. I think you get that tackle in the boat at 6. Maybe you want to get cute and trade back a little bit and take 1, 10, 11, 12. I wouldn't go too far. I want to get that last piece of that offensive line in place.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think those first 2 round picks should be tackle and wide receiver. I'll go along kind of what DJ was just intimating with the Jets. Okay, if the Browns want to truly gauge what Shedeur Sanders is, and if I were the Browns, Shedeur would have my first crack to be the starting quarterback.
Agreed.
Unless you improve the protection and the perimeter skill players, you're not going to get a true evaluation nor a fair evaluation. So if quarterback's not into the conversation for them, I think left tackle absolutely. And they have Jerry Jeudy, nice player, but he's not a burner. So I think there has to be something of a vertical element at that wide receiver spot at 24. Now, who's available has to be a part of the equation, but you've got to improve the ability for the quarterback to get people open or to find people that could get open. So left tackle and wide receiver should be their first 2 rounders.
Absolutely. Everyone's going to say those 2 positions, and I'm not going to disagree with you guys at all. I look at it as, are they going to trade into what DJ said? How far back do they do? If they do that, when you talk about getting a wide receiver, to me, the explosiveness on the offense has to change. Harold Fan and their tight end seem to be their best weapon week in and week out, and he's a really good player at that tight end position. But to your point, Jerry Jeudy was at the top of the league in drop passes. They have to get somebody reliable on the outside. So I think speed is, or maybe a Denzel Boston, a guy that you can put out there and absolutely rely on if you're looking later on in that first round.
Yeah. I'd be interested to see, like, if anybody drops. That gives them the opportunity to trade back. Does Washington want to get up? Do the Chiefs want to get up?
Casey Concepcion. Sorry, excuse me.
It,
Sorry,
DJ.
just coughed there. Sorry about that.
I like that. Casey Concepcion. That's my Jalen Waddle. That's my Jalen Waddle.
He made that comp yesterday, and I think it's really good. By the way, Cleveland has used 3 different starting quarterbacks 4 times in the last 5 seasons. We all know they need help there. Now on to a developing story. Patriots coach Mike Vrabel met with the media on Tuesday for the first time since pictures surfaced earlier this month showing the coach with NFL reporter Diana Russini at a luxury hotel in Arizona. Both denied that the photos represented anything inappropriate. Russini has since resigned from her job with The Athletic in the fallout from all of those photos. And here's what Vrabel had to say today about the situation.
I've had some difficult conversations with people that I care about, with my family, the organization, the coaches, the players. Those have been positive and productive. You know, we believe in order to be successful on and off the field, you have to make good decisions. That includes me. That starts with me. We never want our actions to negatively affect the team. We never want to be the cause of a distraction. You know, and those are comments and questions that I've answered for the team and with the team. We'll keep those private and, to ourselves. Care deeply about this football team, and I'm excited to coach them. I also know that I'm going to attack each day with humility and focus. And what I can promise you is that my family, this organization, the team, the staff, the coaches, everybody, our fans, most importantly, will get the best version of me going forward. And that's what I know, and I'm excited to do that. But I wanted to just address this and thank you for your patience in dealing with the private and personal matter.
The Patriots are in the building for their offseason program that started yesterday. They have the 31st pick in Thursday's draft, coming off their trip to the Super Bowl. We've got more coming your way here on NFL Live. Glad you're with us today. Fernando Mendoza projected to go #1 overall this Thursday. Hear what our quarterback thinks is the biggest area Mendoza needs to improve in. He'll explain and hit the tape. Plus, Jeremiah Love, one of the hottest prospects in this year's draft. J-Mac tells us why he feels Love can be a stud to build an offense around for any